In a recent episode of this project, we harvested an 80s Vandura panel van as a donor to use for our vehicle. It was seized up and stuck, hard to get off the spot, so we had to take drastic measures to get it out of there. This led to a not so pleasant drive.
Whoa! Something's going on under this thing.
Today we're going to be digging into that donor van for the first time, and we're going to run into some problems. I need you guys to stick around to the end of the video to help us out. I really need your help on this one.
Perfect. Big day, guys.
We finally, after pretty much an entire week of not working on the Vandura, we finally got a little glimpse of sun here today, and we are working on It Is Time. Since in the last video we totally scrapped and stripped off the whole cab of the Vandura, now we've got to start closing in the cab. Right now it's all tarped over. Dad and I have already been down, sized up where we're going to make our cuts. So if you look down here, we have where the tail lights were and everything. So we want to cut that out. Plus right here on this line is kind of where everything starts going south and getting bad. Down here you can see this has been fiberglass, so holes and this rot. This is garbage. It would take a lot of patchwork anyway. Our goal is to take right on this seam right here. We'll have to custom fab everything from there down. So we're going to take the part of the roof, as much as we need, make this cut straight across, and then we'll see later what we're going to fill in back here with. So that's the plan right now. That's the big solid rim inside there. This was two big back doors. So there is a support beam in here and down the sides here all the way down. So that should help give a lot of rigidity. And so while we transport this up, this one big piece here, which will be like a big C cut off here, it shouldn't just be flimsy flop. It should retain its shape fairly well to lay down in the pan of the truck here. We do have a couple bad spots. We'll have to cut those out and fill them. We'll have to fill this, so I'll cut it out around that clean and put a patch panel in there. We'll get started marking out now. I'll take a couple measurements after, just to see. What do you know? A little bit of sun.
That's what I think.
More. Huh? Yes. I don't want that much onto my can.
But I drop down, look.
Hey? It's in the bucket. Okay. Get the mask on that I'm all too familiar with. We're going to be running. We've got a series of tools here. I brought different ones just because I didn't know what would be best, but I think the angle grinder, Dad figures the angle grinder is going to be our best option. I'm a little bit worried about the angle grinder generating heat, but that's what we'll run. Hey?
Too cold today.
Yeah, perhaps. No doubt that will help. That it's still cold out, you know. But I'll see what's happening to the panel, and if I got to do a little bit and then move somewhere else and cut a little bit somewhere else, you know. This is the DeWalt 20 volt max angle grinder, which I've found really impressive on this job. We're running a 5 amp hour battery here, full charge. It'd be interesting to see what we can do. Yep. It's working, isn't it?
Well, I don't think the fact that it's warping, it's just that there's absolutely nothing there.
Still thin.
Yeah, like all the ribbing is in further.
Yeah. Right there. So we've pretty much ran down, still shows one light left, but one light will always stay on. One 5 amp hour battery to do the work done so far, to cut the roof down the sides, but Dad did spend a little bit of time using it in the reciprocating saw, so it wasn't full charge, but basically I would say 90% of a 5 amp hour battery. So these angle grinders do tend to eat up batteries pretty good. Nice. from Napa, Canada, and I'm so excited. I was in communication with Napa, and they have decided that they really like this Vendura project, and they're sponsoring the project and the show. Now I'm so excited for this one because this is something that I do not have, and it's a fairly expensive purchase. I bought a couple cheap trolley jacks, small 2-ton Walmart ones over the years, and they just don't last. They're garbage. And as you guys know, with the super exciting project we're doing right now, we need something that is heavy duty and reliable, and I think this is a solution. So when Napa asked me if I would like something, or if there was something that I really needed for the project, this is what I asked for. We're gonna have a look here now. This thing is monstrous. This is the Carlisle, which is sort of the rebranding. Napa going back to some of their original. Carlisle is a big name in the building of Napa in the beginning, but we have a low profile 3.5-ton jack. This is beautiful. Like I said, we need something very heavy for the vehicle we're working on right now, which is essentially a 1-ton truck, a 1-ton flatbed or work truck. I need something for my pickup. I have a 1/2-ton Ford F-150. We need something serious, and I think this is it. So 3.5-ton is the lift capacity here. We have a low profile, which means it's not extremely tall, so I can get this right in under my wife's little car. We have a rubber foot here with a swivel, a free swivel pad here, which is very nice for going up under the vehicle. We have a pivot point here that has a grease fitting, which is just an incredible addition. Very nice there. That one's actually a little bit loose. I've got to snug that up. Double piston. Beautiful. We have a 2-piece handle here. We have a nice like a neoprene foam coating here, so when you're coming up you're not going to damage the side of your vehicle. That's fairly easy to do. Now we'll run full cycle. Look at that lift speed. I love that as well. That was what, 4 or 5 pumps? Down under its own weight. Beautiful. Not quite 5 strokes. Just finished putting some grease in this front pivot here. Saw it squeeze out on either side, just beautiful. Had to use the hand pump grease gun like a peasant. I didn't have Dad's DeWalt 20 volt max grease gun here, but that's just fine. We managed to get through it. You know, I'm not gonna act like Napa was beating down my door here because I'm the best thing around. I went looking for parts for the Vendura, which is a big project, a big undertaking that I've taken. And of course we need a lot of things. And when you're dealing with something nearly 50 years old, you know, where do you even start finding the parts? Well, when I started digging, I realized that Napa has pretty much everything I need for this vehicle. So in being a family man and a content producer and just a general working man, a blue collar type fellow, I contacted Napa and offered a marketing opportunity in exchange for some project support. Like you'll see throughout this project, we've had several companies come on board to help us with various aspects of the project, and I couldn't be more thankful. But Napa graciously agreed to help us out, and I'm so appreciative of that, and they were just too thrilled to have the opportunity, which is really, really special. Now, something else that I've noticed and learned about Napa over the past few months in digging for parts and digging through their tools lists and stuff is that they tend to be very reputable, high quality, and they really source stuff well. You'll find a lot of like Canadian and American made, especially American made products throughout their site. And this right here is just a perfect example of some of the quality you'll see. I was digging through this book, and I know this is not a cheap jack, but I was just digging through this manual that comes with it. And first off, one of the things you'll find is a complete maintenance regimen to tell you exactly what to do with each component of this jack to make sure it lasts as long as possible. The next thing I noticed is that many of the parts put on this jack are intentionally serviceable. The parts are made so that they can be greased properly, so that they can be retightened and adjusted as things wear, which is just beautiful. You don't get that a lot these days. The best part I like that I found in this book, and the most incredible part, I wish every manufacturer did this, there is a complete itemized breakdown of every component on this jack on a big, like an exploded diagram in this booklet here, traced down to a list below with part numbers for every component. So if you were to have trouble or a breakdown of a piece of hydraulic or a bushing or a bearing in here, because there are a lot of working components, if you had a breakdown of any component, you lose a bolt off of here, you need it, you call in your local Napa, you give them the part number, and you've got it yourself. You don't have to be trying to explain, the doohickey that's connected to the plumb bob there. You just call in with your part number, and they can get you your part, and you can install it, which is just an incredible value added. And it's something that you get when you deal with quality companies and quality tools, which is something I've learned over the past few years, that I've been able to afford and have access to some higher end gear and stuff. You really do, most of the time, get what you pay for. You get a lot more for your money when you're able. And I know not everybody is able to invest in a jack like this, but it's important, as I've said before, to collect and invest in the best quality tools that you're able to access. Watch your hands.
More wires.
Hold on. I don't put on my glasses. Herbert Wingfield will be telling me about it. Put her this way or face edge down? Wow, look at that. That's pretty rigid though.
It is.
Huh? There it is. That's one of our big pieces here. Almost no weight to it.
Turn it around.
Very thin steel. What, to see the face of it?
Yeah, so we see exactly what we got.
So this is what I'm hoping to weld into the back cab, maybe to trim off some, because this is a solid sheesh. We're getting probably 20 inches deep here now at the furthest part, and that will be the furthest part out. But I'm hoping we can take a little bit off. We'll see. This is what I'm hoping to put right on the back, weld this right around, and then we'll take the roof out of this one, cap it right over all of it. Hopefully we'll have something that works. That works there. That's what's been in my mind all along, anyways. Oh, that's really stiff, isn't it? Stiffen up the slide, I wonder. lined up over there? Almost did on right there. Oh, yeah.
I'm a little bit 2 inches.
No, you're not.
Seriously.
Hey, where?
Okay, let me come over there. Let me come over. Come on over. Come on.
What? Seriously?
Yep, right there.
So we're going to have to cut her in the middle and open her up.
Yep. Yep.
Oh! This is a wider cab. I'll have to cut her in the middle.
Yep.
So I'm going to have to cut a piece of the gullet out of the side down there. Weld it. Really? Boy, there's really going to be a few pieces there. So we're going to have to stop the work video right here today. And I need your guys' help big time. I'm contemplating 2 options. One Dad came up with, and one was my original plan, which now I'm not certain of. So we have this piece that we cut off, and you got a good look of it. You know exactly how it sits. So it's actually about 1.5 inches narrower. Although all the molding is exactly the same, it's a little bit narrower. It runs to right here, the bottom of this first lip. So we have something that comes out about 16 inches down to that lip. To fill that in, I need to snip it in half, widen it, run a strip there, about 1.5 inches, however wide, which I can get that off the other vehicle, no problem. I also have the exact depth of this doors. I have 2 doors that came off the back of it that are only good down to the exact depth that this is, so they'll be cut off as well. So we'll have a full cab with a patch in the middle right down to here. Now the difficulty, or there are 2 cons to that. 3 cons. First con is that that is a lot of fabrication. It'll take quite a bit of work, a lot of slow, really finessing to get it right, a lot of joined pieces, and we would hope that it would come out, but that is by far the most difficult fabrication part. So the con is just that is a difficult project. The second problem with that is that it comes out 16 inches, and I've checked out here because the angle of the back of the van, that's how much you need. That's where it starts doming in, so we can't really trim any off. It won't line up right. The cab will come back, and then it will be a sharp edge, and it'll start dipping. So I'll lose about 16 inches, which I'll have to add on to the back, because as it sits right here now to the back of the cab, we have 12 feet, and that is exactly what I need to get the Ranger on there. Now the third main difficulty with using the back of the other van is what happens down bottom, right from here down. But I'm grasping an idea of how to do that. Now, that's option 1. Option 2 is one my dad suggested, which is just to get a big sheet of steel, 16 gauge, lap it flat on this cab, flat all the way around, tack weld it inside, cut it off flush, so it will exactly fit this profile, and then corner weld this. Inside and out, just out, whatever, all the way around. Okay, just in case I wasn't explaining that good enough, I decided to do a couple just rough sketches here. So this is a sketch what we have for the cab right now. The floor is going to go somewhere right around here. The floor is not right down to the bottom. So if you need to freeze frame this, because I'm probably going to brush it quickly, but if you need to freeze frame this, just hit pause on the video so you can take a little bit of time and look at each picture. But this is what we have. My original plan was for the back of the cab to look like this. So you can see the outline structure in blue is what we've added. And now the exploded diagram, or the component breakdown, would be right here. So you can see we've shrunk the cab down over here. If you're wondering how I did this, I just freehand sketched the original one. I scanned it in, and instead of having to redraw it, I just shrunk it down, moved it over, and reprinted it a couple times so I could have somewhere to sketch onto it. So this would be the component breakdown. The red lines would show the joins where we'd have to weld. So full weld all the way around. We'd have to stretch this, as we found there, our pieces too narrow. So this is the individual component breakdown right here. This is what we cut off today in this video. We'd have to join a piece in. We have the top halves of our doors, which would be our windows, and then we would still need sheet metal to close in around the bottom, because this would only come, as you saw, to right about midline on the body of the truck here. So this is one option. This was my original plan, but I'm a little bit worried now about all the chopping and cutting, and if it's going to look like a bit of a hack job, or if it's just going to take way too much time and we're going to run into some issues that are beyond sort of our skill level, what we're capable of doing. The other option, in case you weren't quite grasping what I was saying, we would have to weld in some type of frame here, a subframe, because this sheet, unless you wanted to buy 1/4-inch plate and put there, then it would be rigid. But to put in like 16 gauge or even 1/8 inch thick steel there, this is going to be really flimsy. So we'd have to weld in a small like roll cage frame back here. I figured we'd probably weld it so it would frame out, and we'd get like a flat window to put in there, some type of like a big truck window or something, an old window of a pickup or something like that. And what I do is I just get a full sheet of steel, we'd lay it flat on there. I was thinking I'd do a few tacks so it's held in place, and then we just take the angle grinder or reciprocating saw or whatever and just cut right around here so it perfectly matches the contour of the truck. Then once we have two corners meeting, we could just outside weld this seam here around the top and stuff, and that would be it. So we'd be left with a hard edge on the back of the truck, but it would look basically how the truck looks right now. It would just stop flat, single pane right here, right down to the floor. So it'll stop, so it'll be a hard edge right here. They'll meet right here like that. This cab will come back and it'll just be chopped flat. We can get away with that room wise. We can just get away with it. The seats will be pretty much touching the back of the cab, and it would be light gauge steel, so I'd have to weld a roll cage in there, maybe an X brace or some bracing inside. I've priced it out. I think that option will cost me $350. The option of using the other vehicle won't cost me anything. So those are my two options. The flat sheet of steel and making up a roll cage is definitely the easier option. I'm not sure about aesthetically how they will each look. But yeah, the flat panel will be easier, but the more expensive option. The beauty also of doing a flat panel is I don't lose any more room on my bed, so I don't have to extend the truck any longer. I can put a 12-foot flat deck right on the existing frame here now and not really have to extend any. So those are my two options. I'd really appreciate you guys weighing in on one or the other, or throwing any more pros and cons that I haven't mentioned at me. At this point, I'm not really leaning either way. I'm caught in the middle. I'm really not sure what to do, so that's why I'm stopping it right now. We're going to crowdsource for opinions and see what you guys are thinking. Like I said, we either add 16 inches, come out with the dome, so this would roll all the way around, the much more difficult project, and eats up 16 inches of my bed here. Or we go flat, so the cab would look from your angle there now pretty much exactly as it does. It would stop right there. The roof panel, what we're doing for actually coating in the roof, is the panel out of that one anyway, so that won't change in either case. So I'd really appreciate your guys' help on this one, especially if you're a fab guy. Let me know what you think we should do. Anyways guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if it's your first time here, leave me a comment down below, make sure you weigh in here, and I hope to see you in the next video.